Is there online?
It is there online, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand now. I thought maybe it was.
No. Everything is online. I hope you can see my screen. The screen I'm sharing now.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So, no questions or there are questions? If there are no questions, let me start asking my own question. Please let me check whether you guys are with me or against me before I go on to the next level. So, who wants to give us some of the examples of methods of acquiring knowledge? What are the methods of acquiring knowledge that we talked about the last week?
Prof.
Last week.
Good morning, Prof. I am Manasseh Okere. Can I go on?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
One of the
go
methods.
You take one, and everybody here will also say one.
Yeah, one of the methods of acquiring knowledge is authority. And authority has to do with somebody who, because of his position or vast knowledge, is aware of the information you have or the information you are seeking. And he eventually is consulted and he gives his position because of his repute in that area of investigation. So he can be a source of acquiring knowledge. Then one of the problems or challenges of this method is that the authority in question can be biased of his vast needs. That's my little to understand.
So, because of years of exposure to the what you're trying to find out, you have our own knowledge. Very good. So let's take from people who are here. Please go. Some people are still not muted, though. Is it possible to mute everybody? Please, ladies and gentlemen, keep your memories, okay? Using the systematic approach of investigation and data collection and analysis to acquire knowledge. Okay, so that's 2 out of how many now? How many are left? Anyone? So there's intuition. I think I love feeling that you have that. This is this or this is that. It's simple and straightforward. Okay. So intuition, our gut feeling, what we think or what we feel. Okay. So no rush, it's just gut feeling. Okay. And then we have one more, which is so we have mentioned authority, we have measured intuition, and we have mentioned empiricism. There's one more. People online who wants to give us the answer. What's that, Charlie? Okay. They have to be released before they can talk. Yeah, if somebody raises their hand, then if somebody signify anyways, let me just go on. Leave them. Mr. Lawrence is raising hand. Lawrence. Yeah. So.
Empiricism, which is based on the
Go ahead.
gathered. Empiricism is the fourth one.
No. Empiricism. Questions, let's move on. To be these four characteristics. It must be logical. Okay? So which means you cannot do investigation that is about maybe you are investigating participation of teenagers, and then you now must be backed up with evidence. So your evidence should not be contrary to what you are making as inference. Then it must be repeatable, which means the process, the method, follow. Because if you have done the one that nobody can beat, so and you know, last week we were talking about divine revelation. Maybe I would don't want you to submit that kind of revelation assigned. Your work must be, somebody should be able to beat your method, and it's very clear that okay, what you did, this is what you did. Okay, I'm going to scrutinize it. If you have done the work as was I said, then you are not doing that. Other people must be able to recognize what you have done. That's why we are presenting a proposal. Nobody should, or for example, maybe they got it from security agencies or some intelligence agency and say, no, they cannot reveal data to anybody. Nobody can see the data. Yeah, nobody can do that one. Nobody can repeat the work. Nobody knows how you did it. So we cannot scrutinize it. If we cannot scrutinize it, how do we know that it's actually correctly done? So if your research fails any of these characteristics, if it does not meet any of these criteria, then you are not so it's very important to have this at the back of your mind. People don't think. I've seen people come up with conclusions. They will make I'm just thinking of you don't have pulling something out of the head. For not even it is to me, you're already logical. No way you can tell that each of those recommendations it's not. So please always think about this. It's very, very important. These 4 things, they are very important for your scientific. Okay, so now let's think about inquiry. We're doing exploratory. Okay, in exploratory, you are trying to scout out there. Financial crime. Okay, so I may want to scope out what is out there in terms of what is the status of this thing in the general populace, how pervasive it is, what are the dimensions of it within the society, what are the community, society broadly. I want to explore what is out there about this issue of economic and financial crime. Okay, so when you're doing exploratory broadly, you are not trying to maybe want to explain or anything. So that exploratory research is supposed to lead to a more focused research later. Exploratory is what you should do anyways, even when you are trying to review your literature to now know where you are focused. Okay, so exploratory out there about the issue that you are thinking of or that you want to investigate. To be maybe flooding in the Niger Delta and underlying security issues during flood. It could be communal clashes, and so you are not trying to describe the relationship between them. You are just trying to look at them broadly. What is going on? You are exploring. You are looking broadly at the issue. Okay? Then we move on to descriptive. Now, narrow down and just one. Okay? I've seen people say descriptive research design. There is descriptive research. Research design cannot. Your design cannot do this. Research. So, descriptive and making a detailed documentation of the phenomenon of interest. You are talking about what, where, and the when. Descriptive, we are trying to give a detailed account of what, where, and when of a particular phenomenon of interests. Okay? So that now leads us to explanate the focus there answer. Why? Those things are not the focus for us to explain. We want to offer an explanation. Why is this thing happening this way? Or how is it happening? Okay, so explanatory seeks explanations of the observed phenomenon problems or behavior. Why are young people having economic and financial crime? Why is the society not able to curtail the excesses of young people getting into it? Why? If you want to offer explanation, then do explanatory research. So you have to make up your mind. What is it you want? Do you want to do explanatory research? Do you want to do a descriptive research? Or do you want to do exploratory research? So it is from literature you will now know what is it that people are not doing. If you know that there's an area that is not yet clearly understood in terms of its ramification, this broad spectrum of what is going on there, you can go ahead and do exploration. If you know that, oh, they have explored this thing and they have identified the different dimensions of it, but there is one part yet well described. You can go for this, pick that area, describe it. But now that you have described it, there is lack of understanding of why it's like that. Then you can go ahead and do. That is how you do research. Okay, these are broad category, and from this category, you can still pick out some subcategories within this. Okay, so what are some of the concepts you need to think or get a very good understanding of as a researcher? Okay, so you have to start thinking like a researcher now. Even if you have not yet don't see yourself as one, you have to start thinking looking at yourself as one now. So unit of analysis. That is somebody is raising hand to Mr. Okere. Please go ahead. Mr. Okere, is it an enter hand raising or conscious hand raising? I have to unmute. Shalima, is that not what I have to do? Ask to unmute. Okay. Ask to unmute.
All right, Prof, sir, I've been raising my hands, but the host has not unmuted me. So, Prof, I initially rejected going up and down, but I think it's clearer now. But I think that they are all interwoven. Can you do explanatory research without description? Do you not think that the three types of scientific research are interwoven in a way? Thank you, Prof.
Okay. What you have just mentioned is a recipe for confusion. Let me tell you why. Whenever you are doing scientific research, there must be a focus. Do you want to explain what is your main focus? In your write-up, you still describe your story. Does that mean your focus is descriptive? In your write-up, you will still describe your method. You describe how you're going to collect data, the population how you are going to sample. You are going to write all of those. Either you are doing exploratory or you are doing descriptive or you are doing explanatory. It is the focus that matters. Are you trying to explain something or you are trying to describe something? There are works that are basically descriptive. For example, if I do an ethnographic study about the security tradition in Okuni land, or in the BPO land, or in Ikwere land, what am I trying to do? I want to understand what are the traditional security things that they do that deter people from doing criminal things, or if a crime has been committed, what are the things they do to get people to come and confess, or to scare people to, or to get retribution if something. So I will go to the people, sit with them, understand, be part of whatever they are doing, because I just want to describe it to people, because I know this thing is missing in literature. Because we often think that our tradition doesn't have all this kind of thing. Yeah, plenty. I don't think there's any tradition that doesn't have this kind of security thing that they do, that if you do something, steal something, or you do something bad like that. So my focus may be, I just want to describe this thing. I've come up with my proposal, write it up, what are the aspects of it that I'm going to describe, and I go there, sit with the people, interview all the people, necessary people, and come out and write a description of this tradition. Somebody may now come later and say, why are people still conforming to this? That person is not trying to describe the tradition. He is trying to explain why is this tradition still working, or why is it not working. So don't try. I'm advising you sincerely. If anybody advises you otherwise, it's fine. But my own thinking is how to focus. Know where you are going. If you don't know where you are going, everywhere looks like a way. Especially when you're in the forest, or you're in the ocean, or in the river. Everywhere, you don't know where you are going, everywhere is a way. So please don't do that. Have a focus. Know what you are doing and which direction you are going. So that when people ask you, why didn't you do it? Say, sorry, sir. Sorry, ma'am. That is not the focus of my research. The focus of my research is maybe other people that do that. But for my research, okay. So I hope that answers the question, Mr. Okere. Or is it pastor, or professor, or doctor, or deacon? Because we always have time to, so that I will not be mislabeling you. So please have a focus, know which direction you are going. Very important. Okay. So, unit of analysis. That is the smallest entity that you are going to collect data from. The smallest entity. So, if I am looking at cybercrime among young people, let me not be labeling young people. This one that I'm talking cybercrime young. Now, they will think it's only young people that are doing cybercrime. So, okay, I'll use a different example.
Sorry, sir. No, understand. No, now we have, sorry to coach, we have situations where parents we have informal academies in town. Yes. So parents enroll children. The cost of apprentice as apprentice is 300,000. You will be the one to buy the laptop. In the actual space, they've diversified into other businesses. Population now, without extraordinary research of the younger generation who are too young, outweighs the other. So you are actually correct. Because it's not big problem.
Thank you for that. So, which means if I am investigating that issue now, my focus may be that, let's say I want to say, what are the drivers for young people? What are the things that motivate them, drive them to it? Is it family pressure? Is it economic challenges? What are the factors? I want to understand. So, which means my unit of analysis, the smallest unit that I'm going to collect data from, will be the individual. Participating in this thing. individual. But let's say, for example, in Edo State, Benin, this issue of taking women men for prostitution. So even in that situation, also the family are putting the female into the so which means I may be interested in not talking to the victim because the household, like, do you have anybody that why are they meeting? What is the driver? What is the family situation? So in that case, I may be talking to the household. So that household is now my unit of analysis. If I'm collecting data from individual, like the young people now, my unit of analysis will be the young person. If I'm investigating something and I'm talking only to the head of the household or a representative of the household, my unit of analysis now is household. If I'm investigating, let's say I'm looking at still that cybercrime, and I'll go to the state security, whatever, CID or whatever, and I got data for them at the local government level. How many cases of cyber criminals are being arrested in each of the local government? If they give me data set at the local government level, what is my unit of analysis? Local government. Because that is the unit for which I have data. So for the unit for which your data is collected, that is what we call unit of analysis. Okay, that's a unit of analysis. Okay, people online, I hope the audio is loud and clear. So, I'm moving too fast. So the next thing is concept. Okay, concepts are generalizable property or characteristic associated with objects, event, or people. So, for example, if I say vulnerability, if I say security vulnerability of a place, this is a generalizable property or characteristic associated with a place. If I say, give me some general concept, let me use that. Give me some anything, any idea of any concept of interest. Remember, what that means is an attribute or characteristic associated with something. It's a gender-based biology. Okay, so in that case, that's a particular phenomenon. It's not an attribute of something. So if we say, for example, we say rate of violence, if we say rate of violence or rate of based violence of a community or of communities in River State, that is an attribute of a place. So concepts are generalizable properties or characteristics associated with objects, events, people, or even a place. Okay, characteristics of that are generalizable. So, for example, if I say, go ahead. Can we say, let's talk about any collaboration of people that have done their culture. Okay, cultural affinity is a generalizable characteristic or property of a people. How well do they like their culture? Okay, generalizable characteristic, people, place, or people. Okay, so as long as something that we can generalize for a particular group of people or particular event and so on. So it becomes, so for example, if we look at attitudes towards immigrants, generalizing characteristics. Some people are very amiable, they have very compassionate attitude towards immigrants, and some people are the other way. So think of concept as property or characteristics that you can associate. Okay, so and that's what you do whenever you're doing your research. You talk about one general thing, okay, about a group of people or about a place and so on. Okay, then we'll have to consult. It will come down to structure and talk about more examples. So a car's weight can be viewed as a concept because the weight of the car is the generalizable property or characteristic of the car. Okay, so gravitation. So we could say why people gravitate towards a place. So we can put gravitation towards something, or towards a place, or towards a shopping mall, towards a particular part of the city. That is a generalizable attribute of that place. Okay, it could also be criminal gravitation. Why is it that there is a lot of the attribute of the place to attract more criminal activity? That could also be an example. Distance. So we could also look at social separation. So we can define distance as a social separation between people. How far are people within? What are the social distances? Okay, of people within the society. And it's an interesting one because these days we all have our mobile phones, and we think when we say hello to somebody online, it means that we have connected with them. And that often prevents us from even calling them and saying, hello, how are you? If you have just said hi today, it's enough. An interesting concept to think about. I think there are some things that even though we are well connected today, it seems as if that actually wrong. So that illusion of connection also making us we are actually getting so far away. So it may be precise and objective, but it may also be concept may be precise and very objective, but at times it could also be abstract. So when it is abstract, we call it a construct. Okay, let's look at an example. So an abstract concept that is specifically choosing or created to explain. So you have selected the fact, okay, that you want to use it to explain the number. Then we call it a construct. Okay, and in science, whenever we're doing our work, we usually use a construct because we are going to say something. So, for example, if you are studying security vulnerability of a place, so many dimensions. Is it cyber ability? Is it? There's so many dimensions of what constitutes security vulnerability. I'm not an expert in security, but I can assure you that if we think about it, if we just think that breach of the physical barrier is the only perception of security vulnerability, we are fooling ourselves, isn't it? Because if you move out of that security barrier, you may be vulnerable, isn't it? So if your barrier prevents minimize vulnerability, it means that you cannot go out of that. So social security vulnerability has so many definitions. So if we now select that, in order to explain security vulnerability of a neighborhood or of a place or of a building or of a facility, we are going to focus and select only physical. Then we are thinking of a construct. We have selected a construct. Okay? And Physical vulnerability also, it may be abstract. Are you saying is it only perimeter? Or you are saying somebody approaches you even within inside that perimeter and assaults you. So once we select, okay, and we want to use it to explain. So we pick physical vulnerability out of this big security vulnerability, select it to represent, to explain security vulnerability. Then we are picking a construct, okay? It may be a simple concept, okay? For example, a person's weight. If we're studying obesity, we can use a person's weight and height to explain obesity, okay? But it could also be a combination of related concepts, okay? We can pick one or we may pick several things. For example, we have here, if I want to know, I want to explain somebody's communication skills, I can look at their vocabulary. I can look at their syntax, fluency, spelling. By the time I combine all of these together, I can create something that can help me to explain their personal communication skills. So in that case, that is a multi-dimensional construct because I have more than one dimension that I'm putting together to explain the phenomenon I want to explain. But if I pick only weight, so for example, if I'm interested in looking at obesity and I don't want to use height, I just focus on maybe weight. If you are above this weight, you are this, if you are below this weight, you are fine, or you can range. So I can use weight to explain the phenomenon of obesity if I so choose. Okay, so remember, I have specifically chosen that to help me explain the phenomenon of interest. Does that mean that's the only way to do it? No, there are so many ways. But for simplicity's sake, that's also one thing you must understand in science, parsimony. Don't try to complicate things when simple will do. Because the more complex you get, the more difficult is it for you to explain it. You cannot explain it. We ask you 2 million questions and you cannot answer one. Then you will tell you don't know what you're doing. So keep it simple. Okay? So I can go simple, unidimensional, or I can go multi-dimensional, depending on how I think that thing is good enough to explain what I want to explain. Okay? Or describe. Okay? So that is concepts and constructs. Okay? Remember, the construct is still a concept. Just that you have now selected it for your own purpose. Okay, so in my case now, I can think of security vulnerability as the concept. I now pick physical vulnerability to explain security vulnerability. But I've selected it to do what I need to do. Okay, so that's I can assure you, if you ask a whole lot of people, many people will not be able to talk to you about concept and construct because it's not something that is often taught. People just get introduced to research and it sets you free, they go ahead and run free. And then when you meet other people who really enjoy doing research, they start asking you these questions. Go like, this is very important for you to know this. So the next thing is to think about variables. Okay? Variables are measured representation of your constructs. Remember, construct is an abstract concept that you have selected to do your bidding. Now, the measurable representation of those constructs is what we call variable.
Now, let's go back to my example. Security vulnerability. Or physical vulnerability, security vulnerability. I selected physical vulnerability. What are the things that I can measure to help me understand physical vulnerability? I can look at the number of cases of thefts in the facility. I can measure the number of intrusions into the facility. What else? What are the other things that can give me an idea of physical? No, let's think of a facility. Let's say it's a facility. Let's say tackle. I want to explain physical of this town. Okay? What are the other things? I've mentioned we can look at the number of intrusions. Let's say in a month or in a year, or every month we have records. How many intrusion, illegal intrusions into the facility were recorded? I can mention within the facility how many incidents of theft was recorded. What about assault? Unauthorized entry. What else? What other things can I measure that can help me to understand physical vulnerability of a place with the aim of understanding security vulnerability?
Okay, exit point, access point, and exit points. How many are they, or how porous are they?
Okay, so we can try and characterize we can measure the porosity of the access points. Good, we can measure that. What else? What other things can we measure to help us understand the physical vulnerability of the place? Think of your home.
Can we look at consciousness, the knowledge? Look at consciousness and knowledge of the people that vicinity.
No,
As what
do you guys think? Me, I'm not the security, I'm a research person, and you guys are the security people. So whatever you say now, I'll have to take it. You are the expert, it's not my area, you are the authority. You guys are the authority. So, but what I'm trying to get you to understand is that once we have a construct, we have to think of how do we measure these things? What are the things that we can measure to help us achieve this construct or to give us a better understanding of this construct? So, the measurable representation of the construct is variable. See, if you understand research this way, you enjoy research. And that's my aim. If I can make people enjoy research, I think I'm a happy person. I'll be happy the rest of my life. Getting people to understand how to do research properly. Because when you do research properly, when you finish it, you feel happy. No, this is interesting. You found that one interesting. It stimulates you to want to find out another interesting thing. You keep want to do more and more. And that way you are adding to it. You are actually enriching that. But when you do research, you say, oh, we are pay. I won't nearly die. I know there's a case. Which means you have not done research. That's why you are not inspired to want to do another. When you talk about it that way, you also have the person we have understood for now. Because for me, this is my first time listening to research. Like it's really when it comes to work, research is the 20 trucks of cement from the refinery that wants to do something.
Prof.
I understand.
Hello,
So, Mr. Okay, please go ahead.
Yes,
go
Prof.
ahead.
We hardly could hear you. You seem to be speaking to those in the physical class. If the microphone is not working, please let it work. Many of us online could hardly hear you, Prof. Please, we're sorry about that.
Okay. No. There's nothing to apologize. I think we might have to get that one pin up microphone. Let me tell them in the office that they have actually they have a pin up microphone because I'm not used to carrying my not something that I do, but I'm still learning. So, like we were saying here, what we're saying is that if you understand research properly, it should stimulate you to want to do more research. Because when you do research, it leads to interesting things. It leads to discovery. And when you have a discovery, it inspires you to want to do more. Than where is this going to be? But when you don't understand, and somebody made a comment here that it is the first time they are kind of experiencing this kind of simplification of how research should be done, that if not, the way they look at research is like driving drugs of Dangote. So, but I want to encourage you, I want you to look at research. It's something that we're trying to acquire knowledge. And if done properly, when you get to the end of it, it brings excitement to want to do more. But when it is not done properly, it feels so tedious that you just want to drop it and run away from it. Immediately you have that feeling, you know you have not. That should give you an idea that you have not done it correctly. Okay, so I hope I will be able to convince you to keep doing it correctly. Okay, so that you can enjoy it and be able to keep contributing to it. So variables are measurable representation of a construct. So we have abstract entities that we cannot measure directly. For example, if I say security vulnerability or I say physical vulnerability, am I going to use a meter rule or what am I going to use to measure it? I have to devise some measures that I'm going to use, and that now becomes my variables. It is variables that I can measure. I cannot measure the construct directly. I cannot measure it directly, but I can measure variables. I can make observations about variables and use that to understand or to explain my construct. So whenever somebody asks you, how do you operationalize your concept? Basically, what they're asking you is that, how did you measure it? What are the variables you have used? So if you hear me ask you that question, that is all I'm asking. What are the variables you use in measuring or explaining or characterizing these constructs? So you can tell me, oh, I'm using this, I'm using this, I'm using this. And I say, why? I say, yes. This other one might be difficult to measure, so that's why I'm using this. This one can be, it's easy to observe it, that's why I'm using this. So measurable observation, measurable representation of a construct are all variables. And there are 4 different types of variables. Okay? We have the independent variable. Okay, that is the variable that explains other variables. It's on its own. It is the order that explains other variables. Independent variable explains other variables. Then we have the dependent variable. It is the variable that is explained by other variables. It cannot stand on its own. It has to be explained or influenced by other, it is influenced by other variables. Online people, is it better? We need, I'm sure we need that pin up. Oh yeah, let's try again. And I think you need to tell director, we need to get that pin up. I will tell him, don't worry, I will tell him. We need that pin up. Right. Because me, I'm not there. It's a big class. So, hello? Hello? Okay, someone said clear. And now,
Everybody.
let's hope that everybody will not go. Back.
I can hear you very well from my own end.
Okay, that is good.
We can hear you very well, Prof.
Local tradition.
I think it's much better than before. Much better than before.
Okay, I'm looking forward to the day we are going to have all of you in class. We can use traditional movement.
Is it possible? Who pays for our tickets?
No, it's not about tickets. She doesn't need tickets. She doesn't need visa or eat. You just go to the village. They will give her the traditional ticket. There are things that our grandfathers used to move from one place to the other without visa.
That's
okay,
witchcraft.
So
too.
we have dependent. And so because Oyibo tell you say that witchcraft, you are now calling it witchcraft. So your own tradition is witchcraft. Their own is science and technology. Continue.
Okay.
So we have dependent and independent. Independent is that variable that's explaining other variables. Okay? Dependent is the one that other variables are explaining it. Okay? Then we have the intermediate or the mediating variable. Okay? That one is explained. So mediating variable is explained by, let me zoom in. See that everybody likes stuff. No, we are still moving. Let's see. I hope people will. So let me zoom into this part of the slide. I want to show you something. Okay. So mediating variable. It is explained by the independent variable and it explains dependent variable. So it's right in between the independent and the dependent variable. Okay? So then we also now have the then we have the moderating variable. Okay? The moderating variable explains or influences the relationship between the dependent and the independent variable. It influences the relationship. So the way I want you to think about that is that you have fuel in your car. You have the power of the engine. The more you depress the accelerator, the faster the car. Okay? So that moderating variable like that accelerator pedal. It influences the relationship between the speed at which your car moves and the fuel consumption and the power of the engine. So moderating, mediating, dependent, and independent variable.
So I have a very nice example that I always use here. That if somebody has the right IQ, okay, they have the intelligence. So intelligence is the construct. We use the IQ score to measure intelligence. So IQ test, IQ score is now a variable. Intelligence is our construct. Okay, so we use the IQ. Okay, then we look at academic achievement as the mediating intermediate, because if they have good kind of a particular level of IQ score, we expect that the academic achievement will also show. And now the academic achievement is now linked to any potential. If they are working or they are doing business, that IQ with the academic performance should translate to a particular outcome. So, which means the earning potential is explained by the academic achievements and is further explained by the IQ. The single puts effort. He does not apply himself well. IQ will not be able to lead to the expected level of any potential. So, efforts, the individual effort put in, can moderate, it can amplify, or it will reduce the final outcome of the earning that the person may get. If you have that at the back of your mind, it helps you to kind of understand what we mean by moderating and what we mean by moderating. Okay, so doesn't put in the effort, the achievement will be also limited, isn't it? And once the effort is not done and the achievement is limited, the earning potential is also going to be directly impacted. Okay, so these are the four types of variables, and most of the time people don't pay attention to the moderating and mediating variables. We just focus on independent and independent. Like when we're looking at cybercrime participation now, there are so many mediating and moderating variables. But most of the time, if you see many literature applied, we focus more on dependent and the independent. The independent now is just look at the family situation or poverty and things like that, and then boom, we look at the dependent participation in Yahoo or whatever. So what about peers? The influence of peers. What about the societal influence? Is it something that is generally accepted? Because I know there are some places somebody has told me that almost everybody in that area, their kids are into one Yahoo. So if your own kid never entered, what is your problem? Those are mediating or intermediate variables.
I understand very well. I don't know. I say that every sex of people have four kinds of variables.
They always are. The only thing is that we don't always think about them. Is there anything that is not related to it? Is there anything that just stands that it's independent and dependent? Give me an example of one that you have experienced that there are only just two variables affecting one affecting the other. That's it.
Okay, if I look at it, something like the inclusion of people with disability in the workplace.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm thinking this has only
I disagree sincerely and absolutely. What about societal factor? Is the society not influencing the relationship that you find between stability and inclusion in workplace? So, people online, somebody is highlighting that there might be some instances where there are only two variables, dependent and independent variables. And I'm disagreeing with that position that there are always more variables involved. So she highlighted an example of inclusion of. Okay. So what are the variables that you think are the independent variable? The one that can explain it. And then the dependent variable is the inclusion, isn't it? Okay, inclusion. What are the factors or variables that think influences it directly? Pick a workplace. What are the things that will influence inclusion or recruitment of people with disability in the workplace? Company policy, sector of employment. Yes, type of job within even the sector. Bias. Is bias coming directly from here or is coming from the society? So, if it's coming from the society, it could be mediating, it could be moderating. Okay, what else? I've answered that question. So there's no way. I'm a geographer. The first law of geography is that everything is related to everything. But things that are closer are more related than things that are further away. So, and that translates to everything in life. Everything is related to everything. Whatever you are observing, there are some things within the society that influences it. If those things are there, it means that they may either be mediating or moderating. If there is a government policy that says there should be no discriminator and discrimination in workplace, and there is a regulator that is torchlighting whatever you are doing, that is mediating or intermediary variable. What of if there is a policy of inclusion in terms of gender that you must have ratio of so in terms of employing of male and female, irrespective of the sector? All those other things that were mentioned about the sector, the policy within, or the culture within, organizational culture, and things like that. But the one that is larger, that is beyond the immediate that we are looking at, they are either moderate or. So, next time I see your work, I want to see you mention your moderating and mediating, because they are always there. Because we don't pay attention to them doesn't mean they are non-existent. So, please. It's also part of what makes research interesting. Because if you do an analysis and you can show us how you investigated, how, like one of my students did work on exploring the moderating and mediating factors for accidents among truck drivers. So look at several things about them. Amount of training they have had, their age, how they were recruited, ask them some questions, experience, and we're able to find out which one is moderating and which one is negating. Their statistical analysis. If we don't know them before, yeah, analysis will to show us which one is. Okay, answer. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Prof. Thank you very much, sir. I'm trying to understand that earning potential, from what you are saying, is highly dependent on the intelligence of an individual, and it is mediated by academic achievement. Now, in view of the present situation where many people can parade themselves with certificates that they may not be able to defend, do you think that academic achievement is a reliable mediator between independent variable and dependent variable? Do you not think that skill can be added as a mediator between intelligence and earning potential? Thank you.
Oh, you are looking at academic potential, academic achievement from just the university point of view. What are we about to technical qualifications? I have a OND, I have an HND, I have a certification from a technical college that I can do it. If I'm a bricklayer, it's only here that we don't have certified bricklayers, certified electrical fitters, and things like that. What of if that is the case? So don't think because I use academic achievement there, it means it's BSc and PhD. No, it could also be a technical skill. The idea of that is that you have something to show that after going through the training, you have something to show that I have achieved it.
Okay.
It's not how you have gone, it's just to show that you have achieved. You are able to finish the learning process and you've got something to show for it. Okay? But before you get something to show for it also, you must put in the effort. And the intellectual capacity must be there. But remember, intelligence also has so many dimensions. There's social intelligence, there's emotional intelligence, there's the book intelligence, the one way some people. And at times, the one way some people don't necessarily mean that that is what is going to lead to any potential. So, but remember, in my study now, I'm using IQ because I'm only focusing on that aspect of intelligence. Remember, that's a construct now. Because intelligence is my concept, I've now selected only one aspect of intelligence, that is the one I'm going to use. So I'm using those one of academic intelligence, which is the IQ score. So don't look at this illustration as the one of it fits everything. No. It's because if I'm doing my own research, I don't want to talk about emotional intelligence. I can't do social intelligence. I think intelligence has now gone to about 4, 5, or 6. So since I'm not covering all aspects of intelligence, I can focus on the one I'm talking about. If you ask me a question, for example, now I can answer, "Oga, my research won't go that direction. This is my focus, and that is where I'm staying." Other people can look at that aspect because we do not expect you to cover every aspect. You will be confused. You will not be able to finish that one if you try to cover every aspect. In your limitation of study, you can go there that this study only looked at this aspect, therefore we cannot interpret it like this. See, I love research there because it's the place you can say it as it is, and it's tricky. In politics, you cannot say it as it is. Even in security, you cannot say it as it is because you cannot say something. You have to, for security reasons, you may not reveal something. But me as a scientist, I'll say it as it is. And I can disagree with you based on objective facts that that thing you are saying, there is no fact to back it up. So you are wrong. So please don't take this in face value that is covering everything. It's just thinking about a particular aspect. It's a particular research that I'm doing, and I'm focusing only on it. Okay? So, and this is an interesting one because we can do that. Maybe somebody will be interested in taking this one. If that was something that I wanted to do, that he was mentioning the awareness of consciousness, security consciousness of the people, and I'm thinking security consciousness of the people might be influencing the level of crime and violence that happens in the place. I've not investigated it and I've not read about it, but I think it's something that is worth thinking about. Because if people are conscious, I'm not saying conscious in terms of being apprehensive. I'm talking about conscious in knowing that if you do this kind of thing, it's not sensible. It makes you vulnerable. If you do this kind of thing, it helps you to be a little bit secure. So, will it be interesting? It could be interesting to check the consciousness of certain community. What is the relationship between that and level of crime and violence in that community? Something worth thinking about. So then we have what we call nomological network. Nomological network tells us the relationship between a set of related constructs. Okay? This is just what I'm showing you here. Intelligence, academic achievements, any potential effort. What I've drawn here is nomological network. It shows the relationship between your construct. So if you have that, that is your nomological network. You see the beauty of this kind of thing is that if you can construct it, if anybody asks you to explain what you are trying to do, is it easy or difficult? Please, I want you to start following up. Because if you are able to illustrate it, even a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old can explain what you are doing today.
I wanted to just say that this is going to be straight directing from our program. I think this to show that I think I would have explained in simple detail what I'm going to explain.
So let's science try to simplify things without making it look stupid. Okay? So whatever you are doing, remember you are going to be communicating it to other people. Your research, you are going to communicate it to other people. So if it is not understandable to you, now imagine that you want to tell it to other people. So this is the way to kind of think of research to make you really make it work. Okay? So I will stop here because my throat is getting very dry. But I will take questions at this point. I'm going to leave the rest for you guys to review. I try as much as possible to make my slide very informative. And remember, there is also there are videos online. Everything that I'm explaining here, I'm also explaining. So you can review the video again and again to get the full understanding of what I'm talking about. So at this point, let's do it this way. Are there some research that you are thinking about, or some topics that you are thinking about that you want us to examine now? Let's make all these things we're talking about, let's make it practical. What are concepts within your work? Have you now been able to identify the construct? And then what are the variables that you want to measure? Is your work going to be exploratory, explanatory, or descriptive? Can we start with that? Let's defer to the people online. Did you get my question or should I repeat it?
Répétez, Prof.
Okay, encore more than one time. Okay, the question is, have have you started thinking about the research work? Is the research work going to be explanatory, or what are the constructs and concepts within? If you have selected the construct, what are the variables you want to use to represent that construct? Okay? Anybody want to start? We want to give the online people chance first, then we'll come back to that are here. Try to get to that. I have asked on the office since they have. Okay, if online people are not ready, we go. Okay, Mr. Ju, you want to say something?
Hello? Hello, Prof.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Please, in explanatory research, who is going to explain, the researcher or the person you are collecting data from? Who is explaining?
You are the one that is explaining why something is happening. You have collected the data. You are now going to use the data to explain why or how this thing is happening the way it's happening.
Okay. It's all right. Yeah. But today's lecture is a little bit, how will I explain it? We didn't understand it very clearly because of the microphone. They just unmuted us now. There was a general.
Okay, Mr. Ju.
Yes, yes,
Prof. Let me allay you. The same lecture, this lecture is being recorded, and also I've recorded myself giving the same lecture. So you can go online and watch me give that same lecture. This same lecture that we're going through. You can watch me give that same lecture over again.
It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to guess that Fenty Okwara is a lady. Serial interpreter. Okay, so please go ahead. Go ahead, ma'am. Network, I suppose.
Good morning, class.
You can go. Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, I think my research will be exploratory because I am trying to find out. Because I've already started my dissertation already. So my research is like centered on. I'm trying to scope out ideas or societal perception of indigenous people of Biafra and their behavior. And also my unit of analysis will be them as an organization, or let me say as a terrorist organization as prescribed by the government. So I will be focusing my concepts on the behavior of the government towards them and how the government have, how the government have come all out for them, declaring some military, as in targeting them militarily, and also trying to just take them out of the concept. So then my variables will be on security, putting into consideration arms and weapons, in trying to explain how people are trying to cope after everything that the government have done to the people of Olu.
Okay, let me ask a follow-up question.
Okay.
What is the problem that this research is addressing?
Hello, sir, I can't hear you.
Let me elaborate. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear?
Yes, but your line is breaking, but I can hear you.
Okay. Because I'm far away from that place. Okay, what is the problem that this work is addressing? Let me tell you what that means. Okay?
Okay.
What I mean essentially is, what is the gap in literature that this work will be filling? What is it that we do not know that your work is trying to provide? Because that is very essential. What from your literature review, what is it that we do not know that this your work now provide for us? It's all right if you don't have the answer now, but I want to put this to
Hello,
all
sir. Are
of
you
you.
still there? Hello.
Yes, I'm very
I
much
don't know
here.
why, but I can't hear you. I don't know that there's any other person online that can hear him because the line is breaking seriously. I didn't get the place.
Prof is asking, if I am permitted by Prof is asking, what is the problem that your research work will be solving? What is the literature gap that the research work will be filling? Thank you.
Okay, I got that now. So the gap that my research will be filling is how the people in our local government have been coping ever since the federal government released the military to kind of wipe them off this earth. So that's where my research is focusing on their coping mechanisms. And the just few people have already written that, because everybody's just focusing on everybody's focusing on the organization, but nobody have tried to write about how the indigenous or citizens of that place have been coping ever since their community have been invaded by soldiers.
Okay, Madam Okwara, everything you are saying now, I'm going to tell you, don't talk like that when you are explaining your work to anyone. Because it's full of bias. You said invaded. You said released to wipe them out. So you have already taken sides. So if I am on the panel of people to decide on what you are doing, I would say you cannot do this work. You are not qualified to do the work because you are already biased going into the work. And if you say people have not investigated the plight of the people, I will tell you that is no. I supervise a PhD.
I said few people have done it. I didn't say nobody. I said few people.
What is it that you are going to find out about that place that we do not already know that the people are suffering? Because the people are caught in between. The militants on one side, the security forces on the other side, and the ordinary people are caught in between, from farmers to people who are doing their businesses to help. We already know that. Unless you want to tell me that you have not read law that is talking about that before. I can tell you that even only in this center, the work that have been done on IPOP and its impact on the society or the community, if I can count, I can count for you 4.
Open here.
If 4 has been done, what makes you think that beyond here? Let me tell you this carefully. You must read very well. Let's say, for example, somebody has done the same thing, but they use a different way of collecting data. Maybe they did a cross-sectional work. They went to people and just use questionnaire and interview. What if you do another work? You sit down,
open and take each one to the last. Nobody, all those things we will go amend them. Most of this thing get go back.
Man.
So, what if you use the ethnographic approach? For 1 month, experience cases and come and the other question. Yes, your work will come up with something totally different from professional. It just come to me and give you go back. You live for 1 month. They wake up, you look at things in when did they go to farm? When did they not go to farm? What are the incidents that are happening? Come back. If you say you are doing exploratory, ethnography will provide very good exploratory and even because you can tell us, you can say an ethnographic analysis of impact of IPO and security forces challenges on so. By the time you generate your report, it's something totally different from the way other people have been doing. I don't know if somebody has done ethnographic study about it, but I'm telling you that is one of the ways your work should distinguish itself from what you don't say there are few works. Because there are few works, maybe the few works has explored what is out there. Maybe it's necessary for you to look at another dimension. So please, you said you have started the way I roll. You must tell me from literature. Going to have war. And you expect me to have that as a basis for investigating some. I can as well tell you that there are few works about this farming. That's why. You work for investigation. I then know electrical engineers that have done several studies on this. I'm not saying because it has not been validated out. You must bring and you must show us how your work impacts. Which perspective is your work bringing that different from what has been done? Don't divide the work by saying there are few. No, it's not a valid account at all. Please don't go down. I'm going to the questions I'm going to ask you now. So just get ready for those questions. Go and research about how to answer those questions. Okay? I wish you all the best. Let's now go to people who are physical. Who wants to talk about their own research? You have mentioned your own before. Anybody else who wants to try? Thank
you. I'll look at, take for example, I want to extract how to the security of marriages. Okay. And then I'm looking at the causal effects for breakage of marriages. Now, my question here is that in trying to find out what causes this marital breakdown, will it be possible for me to make my explanation without going descriptive? Will it be possible for me to also emphasize without going explanatory? In fact, the three arms, I don't see how I could actually, dish out my research without touching these areas.
What is the focus of your research? Do you want to explain? Do you want to describe? Or do you know?
I want to point out the actual reason why we have this high number of divorce in our society.
Okay.
And then in doing it also, the extension of my question is it just the group or is this the individuals that I'm also going to carry out my variations on. Because sometimes marriage break down because of individual perception, the peer groups, the associations we make. And other times it could be from our home, maybe social awareness, if I may use that word. So there are so much things that leads to marital breakdown. And I feel that if I restrict myself only to one area, I may not be justifying my research work. So the question here is
why do you think so? Because let me challenge your thinking. This is why one of the most important things you would do for your research is proper literature. Because I can tell you categorically that what you are researching is an area that is well researched in medical sphere, in psychology, in public health. So the people in public health will look at it from a different perspective. Somebody in social psychology or psychology will look at it from a different perspective. And somebody in sociology will look at it from a different perspective. So if you have read their different perspectives and how they have done it, it will become clear how you should go. Because the question you are asking now just tells me that you have not done proper literature review. Let me tell you the beauty, the benefit of proper literature review. You will learn about the methods. What are the best methods that have been used to do this kind of work? What are the limitations of those methods that have been utilized? Immediately you know the shortcomings of those methods that have been utilized, you have a research gap to fill. If somebody carry out the research and they say these are limitations of my own technique, you can tell us that your own technique will address those limitations. If you address those limitations, you have filled the gap. If you do your literature review very well, your introduction becomes easy. Your materials and methods, chapter 3, becomes easy. Your discussion of results in chapter 4 becomes easy. But this is the part that most people feel very lazy because it's the most complex part of the work, because you have to read several works of other people. And it takes a very concentrated mind to read and digest what other people have done. If you read what other people have done, you'll be standing on the shoulders of giants. So please, I don't like the culture we do here. We say, go and bring a topic. The first thing you should bring is, go and give me the gaps that you have identified from reading. Identify 3, 4, 5 gaps. Let's around our circumstances. Which one is it that we can focus on? Not go and bring me title. Now bring title, we will now be trying to panel the title into shape. No, we should start with the gap in literature. We are putting the cat before the horse by coming up with title. Any student that comes to me, I'll say, go and do what we call annotated bibliography. Go out and read several works. Now, 5 or 6 works, most recent work, and tell me what are the gaps in those works. If you can tell me what are the gaps in 5, 6 works, we can identify the direction you should go. Not just come up with topics and then we'll now be fighting when topic come. We'll be panel beating and doing carpentry work. No. And these are the challenges that you guys are going to run into. I want to really, really advise you. The best thing you can do for yourself is to go back to literature, read extensively. Read as if your life depends on it. When you read very well, when you open your mouth to talk, if your supervisor says, what do you mean by that? You say, according to so, there was this work that was done and they found this and they expressed that there's a limitation here and here, and that is why we should not use this approach, we should use this approach. So why this group? Oh, this group, for example, this person is this group, this person has gone to this group. However, it has been shown that all the other people, they have looked at this group, but they have not looked at this group, and this group is important because of this and this. That is logic. If you go to your supervisor with adequate understanding of the state of art, the literature, it is difficult to tell for him or her to tell you don't know what you are doing. He will just tell you, go ahead, you know what you are doing. That is the way I was trained. And that's why I asked you, the most important question you will see me asking you is, wow. My supervisor asked something, I thought that's the only thing he knows how to ask. But I realized that it was very important because on the day of my test, as they were asking why I was just firing. The person that came there was like, why did you call us for interview for this man? He knows what he is doing. Let him go. So please, immerse yourself in the literature of that thing. If you are looking at marital breakdown, go and read extensively. Don't read 1978 work. Don't read 1995 work. Start from 2015, 2017. Start reading. Because those 2017, 2020 would have referenced those 1974 work. Big contemporary work. What I got. Now, don't be citing. I've seen people cited work of 2005 and say that's the reason why they are doing their work in 2025. So you are telling me since 2005, nobody has read that work and thought of filling that gap up till you now. So now, so everybody moving. So in that field, in that area of inquiry, nobody has thought about doing anything until you now in 2025. So please, I know it's a lot, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. That's the secret of getting better at it. The more you do it, the better you get at it. If I pick an article now, if you like maybe 8,000 pages, if I just go like this, the speed at which I will read it, you will still be on page 1. I don't read it. Because I'm skipping through the example that my eyes will just go bam. Because I've been doing for several years. Practice makes perfect. You see, look at all master word now. But I've never know how to do it. But somebody that has been doing it for several years, it will make it look like magic and because the clap around. Please, literature. You are still going to encounter me when you start presenting your proposal. I'm giving you the way I am. I don't
Prof.
show people who are so.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Naturally, some people may be praying, they don't fall into your hand. But I am earnestly praying I fall into your hand for learning purposes and for exposure, more exposure. But you know, assessing literature is not all that easy, especially when you want to center on a particular location. Abia State or River State or Ikwere or whatever, except when you go to internet. And when you go to internet, you may not have some works, you may not have works that are purely targeted to Ikwere land or something like that. So it becomes difficult in a way. I wouldn't know how you can advise us to assess literatures as to the good advice and counsel you are giving.
Okay, about sites of literature is still something I'm going to cover. It's part of what I'm going to cover. I'm going to show you how to cite for literature and how to get relevant. Hello, is it better?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, so as part of this course, I'm still going to teach out this course and how to access those things. Also, the university has a compendium of literature that you can access online. So that's why you also need to register our library. I will talk to the director. I don't know whether during your orientation, somebody from the library came to talk. Maybe we have to arrange that again so that I can show you how to access those materials. And then, see, it's not necessary that because I want to talk about equilibrium, I will now go and look for only literature that targets equilibrium. I equate people not human. If you punch them, they don't feel. So, what is it about the equilibrium people that now make them so different from if you talk about something that was done in Southwest or something that was done in, unless your work is specific about a particular culture. And you don't necessarily have to look for work about equilibrium. Since you are going to be reciting equilibrium, is it necessary to be citing only work done in equilibrium? Whatever if you look at work done in other places and now say you are now going to study equilibrium because there's something peculiar to the equilibrium. There is no peculiar to this other group. That is why you want to study equilibrium people. You don't need to start citing equilibrium people first. Work done in equilibrium first. You could use that and say, okay, these people have been, all the works that have been done. For example, I'm doing a work now on workability of labor. And we know that many of the measures used to assess workability was designed for North America. So it's high time to start adapting that kind of tool to suit our own environment. Will I now be citing Nigerian work when there are no workability indexes are designed for? I will not. I'll be looking at how they have done it in other places, in Latin America, in Asia, in Europe, in America. How have they done their own workability assessment? And I will now come here and say, okay, looking at the peculiarity of our own environment, we need to design something that fits for our own environment. And that is why I'm doing this work. So I don't need to start, first of all, citing Nigerian literature. So I think maybe what I will do, I will share also something about how do you know gap? What are the different types of gaps that fail? Okay, I will post something about that. Maybe I'll post it to class rep. So please, class rep, reach out to me. I will just send that thing and you guys can have a look at it. And the next time we meet, we can talk more about it. I want you guys to enjoy research. Because if you enjoy research, it's a benefit to humanity. Because which means you are going to do proper work. If you do proper work, it means that our knowledge base is getting better. If you do rubbish work, it means that we are just destroyed for it. We are just wasted people. So I don't want to be part of that. You are going to bat me and they end up with paper. I don't want to be part of that. Okay? So please, thinking about research, start from literature. By the time to read literature, chapter 1 will be fantastic because you know what you want. Your chapter 2, well taken care of because that's literature, isn't it? Your chapter 3, you have seen how other people have done it. What are the shortcomings? What are the ones that are well done in terms of the way it is structured? And what are the ones that have some limitations? You adjust for that limitation, you write your own chapter 3. But if you don't do that literature, you do very well. Start in the trouble. So read. Finding literature, I will also go through that. But maybe we have to fast forward that maybe next week I can touch upon it. It will take a lot of time. I can touch upon it and show you how to find literature online, how to get there. Okay? But I will also remind you I need to talk to the director. If the person from the library have not been there, if they have not been there to talk to you, I think they really need to talk to you to show you what we have in our library electronically, so that irrespective of where you are, access to. Okay? So I will want to leave you guys now so that you catch your breath. I know I can be more. I am not a pastor, but at times when I drive my I tend to get a pastor. But don't mind. So I'll see you guys next week. So please, for the sake of those who are online, if you miss any aspect, go online to the Canvas platform, the video there, and I know they are recording this also. So I don't know where they usually post it, but you can always ask them at the center where they post it for recording of the class. Okay? So I wish you all the best. Don't eat too much more. Read and an article, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
No, thank you, Prof.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Have a
Prof.
lovely day.
Thank you.
So much, Prof. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a lovely weekend.
Yes, yeah, that was great.
It's Pastor Woo.
Please, what's the next time for the next class, please? Thank you.
I think it's next time 11. Yeah, 11. Now.
Platform on a different platform.